Are you employed now, and if so, or going to school, or if so, what is
Yeah, I just actually, because I was released medically, I was lucky enough to have the support of CISIP and Veterans Affairs to actually get some education. So I chose to go to Loyalist College in Belleville, and I just finished a 2-year photojournalism degree. And I'm a photojournalist now. And I'm going back to school in the fall, September, and I'm going to take public relations and event management for a year as a postgrad. So yeah, I'm keeping busy. Matter of fact, when I finished the Army the second time, I finished on a Friday and I was in school on a Tuesday. And it was awesome. And I accepted the challenge, and I did pretty good too. Like, I really, really enjoy the creativity aspect of it. I'm kind of an outgoing sort of person now, not unlike I used to be as a young boy, so it's kind of a perfect fit for me. And those programs are out there for people. Those programs are available, and it requires some effort to do them, and it requires some effort to talk to people. But geez, I wouldn't have traded it for the world, the 2 years I just spent in Loyalist, and hopefully the year I'm about to spend starting in September.
and back in Loyalist?
Yeah, Loyalist is a great college. It's really good.
Job prospects after that. Have you
Right.
got anything lined up, or anything any vision of what you want to do?
Well, the reason I chose PR and event management is because you kind of need to round out your skill sets. Photojournalism, although it's a really rewarding thing, there's not a lot of demand for it anymore because the iPhone has taken over.
Everybody's a photojournalist.
Everyone's a photojournalist. Everyone has an opinion on Facebook is a photojournalist. The memes, all that crap. So while it's a great base and a great skill set to have to go into public relation and event management, what I eventually hope to do is involve myself in something where I can give back, where I can help vets, like, working with Military Minds or working on these adventure rides like I just completed 11 days with Mike Terry. Those kind of things, and getting it out there, letting vets know that there is life after service, to let them know that there is, although they might be in a dark tunnel right now, there's always light to be found. And it's a matter of accepting the fact that you have issues, seeking help, and talking as much as you can with people you trust about your issues, and being honest with yourself most of all.
That's easy to say, hard to do.
It's easy to say and hard to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But you recognize it after time that the only way to get better is take that first step. It's a big gulp, but realize that you're kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's time to do something about it because it affects everyone in your life. I had 8 friends that I lost to suicide, and they have left so much sadness and ruination in the lives they left behind of their loved ones that it's just unfathomable, the sadness. They weren't in the right place, and they didn't get the help they needed, and they made that final decision. And I've had suicidal ideations in the past. I can understand suicide, and I understand that people do take their lives and they think there's no hope. But it just leaves so much turmoil and so much sadness in its wake.
What sort of activities do you like to do? Where do you find purpose and passion?
I find purpose and passion in being a good husband. I find purpose and passion on motorcycles, with my camera, writing. Maybe that always was there within me, but it took a lot of years to really understand that purpose and passion comes from a healthy mindset. And not everybody can do what I do. Not everybody would want to do the photojournalism thing or the photography thing, but everyone has a passion. Everyone has an interest, and they can pursue it. Even at the ripe old age of 55, I'm doing the young guy stuff, and it's good, and it's saving my life. It is.
Yeah, I know that was a big reason I turned to, school was the plan, but the ride last year and then this year too, like finding that purpose and passion and fulfillment was huge. It was absolutely required, and the Army was a big mechanism for filling that gap. It gave you your mission, and people think it's about you need to be given orders. And so
Right.
I need to be given a mission and an objective, and I need to be let off the chain to get at it.
Yeah, you're right. I often use that, the mission,
Yeah.
the mission focus. A mission doesn't have to be to go overseas and create havoc or prevent havoc from happening. Your mission could be something as simple as making yourself happier
Yeah.
and doing the things that interest you. Everyone has an interest. Find it, embrace it, and put some effort into it, because it's so damn rewarding when you graduate from college at 55, when you're accepting the fact that there's life after the military. There's a grand, beautiful, beautiful life after the military.
So when you say about graduating college, and you know, and mission, and it's essentially graduating to the spot where you don't need somebody else to give you the mission; you give it to yourself.
That's right.
That's, you know,
Yeah.
and there's a certain liberation in realizing. I remember I was halfway through my ride last year when I realized, you know, when I was having a day where it's down in the dumps and I'm missing all that. You know, I'm missing the guys and I'm missing the culture, and I realized, you know what, I can decide what I do.
Yes.
Like, yeah, and it's good when you can get to that point, and I think that's probably for a lot of people that's the stumbling block, waiting for that input or waiting for that inspiration, or maybe not quite knowing how to get after it.
Well, one of my favorite expressions, and it came from an old sergeant of mine, the Army ain't what it used to be. It never was.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to be a military person for your entire existence. When I went to college, I was the oldest guy in the class. There was a lot of young folk there on their cell phones and putting their feet up on the desks, and bothered the crap out of me. But then I realized, like you said, I'm on my own mission. I'm going to learn. I'm going to take part. I'm going to write some good stuff. I'm going to take some excellent photographs, shoot some great video. That's all you have to do. When you're not attached to the Army, when you're not attached to the giant mission of saving the world, you can save yourself.
Yeah. Well, I usually end with the open-ended. Is there anything else you want to share? But I got a few extra to fire at you today.
Okay.
So we just finished 11 days, and you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Touring around the St. Lawrence River, and this is so you just bought yourself an adventure bike a matter of months ago, right?
Right.
And this is your first adventure tour, essentially?
Yeah, basically, I was on last year I did a motorcycle tour in the United States on a cruiser with another Mike friend of mine, Mike, and we cruised from Alberta through British Columbia, Oregon, Washington State, California, Nevada, Arizona, in the middle of a heat wave, kind of dumb. But nonetheless, it was wonderful. But what I saw was a couple guys on our 1200 GS Adventures, the bike I bought, and they were taking the off-roads. They were going on these dirt roads to the top of these beautiful mountains in the middle of nowhere. And that's where I wanted to be. Because getting away from the highway and the traffic stops and the smell of the diesel and all that sort of stuff, that's where the adventure begins. And I owned a GS in Germany when I lived there, but I decided to buy a GS again. As a matter of fact, I was Googling and looking online for a GS before I even got off my motorcycle trip. And I bought it on the way back from my motorcycle trip in Toronto to my home in Brighton. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I just finished with Mike Terry here, my friend. I just finished almost 6,000 kilometers in the most stunning countryside that I've ever seen. I got to see Newfoundland and Labrador and Cape Breton and the beautiful Gaspé Peninsula in Quebec. And an adventure motorcycle has really set you up for success for that. You can carry a lot of kit. You can handle the rough gravel roads. We even did some off-road, and I waited out in the sand a bit, but so what? That's what it's for. It's got crash guards. But yeah, adventure biking, it's kind of for Army guys, I gotta say.
No doubt.
And girls, for that matter. Lots of girls doing it now too.
Absolutely. So what made you want to join on with this trip? So what I know Scott Casey,
Yeah.
The president of Military Minds Inc., who's running the Rolling Barrage as we speak. They're a little ways away from finishing up, and I know he got in contact with you. But what made you choose this experience over potentially any other you could have done on your own?
Well, I think it's important to travel with a partner. It's a fire team partner concept from the infantry, right?
There you go.
I had done quite a few. I belonged to a motorcycle club before. Ripping down the road as part of a group on your loud cruisers is fun. But it's not as rewarding as hitting the off the beaten path and being kind of worried if your bike's going to make it out of here, and being so damn happy you made it to the top of that hill that was just rained on, and avoiding the pitfalls and learning how to ride. I learned how to ride an adventure bike. I took a course like you should, and learned how to balance the bike and the steering effort, and how to pack it, and you learn that online or from experts like you.
Experts.
Yeah, it's kind of like an army bike. You carry everything you need with it. It's ready to go. It's rugged. It's a bit of a pig, but c'est la vie. It's good. So that's the adventure aspect of it. It is an adventure, and you can go places where other people can't even go in cars, and that's cool.
Very. So, would you say you'd be on for maybe another Dispatches ride next year?
I would really like to see the Dispatches concept take off. I know that adventure bikes are becoming more popular as people move away from the cruisers, because like a high-end Harley's now $60,000. A high-end adventure bike $30,000. And a really good adventure bike you can outfit for $10,000 or $12,000, or you can buy a used one for $5,000 for somebody that's not using it anymore. It's a segment that appeals to a lot of people, and it's affordable to a lot of people. And the thing is, if you drop your nice cruiser bike and you shatter that chrome, it's a couple $1,000s. If you drop your adventure bike, it's just a couple scuffs and war wounds on the bike, and it's kind of fun.
Take the hammer, pound the dent.
Take a hammer and pound out the bent in your box or whatever it might be. Yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta say, this is so last year I did my ride. It was a solo effort, and this is my first time throwing together one to take anybody else out. So it's been a different experience, but I definitely gotta say. I very much enjoyed the ride with you, and you mentioned I was a good travel companion. I'd have to say the same. It's always good when you can, of course, connect on a number of different levels. The previous military experience, unfortunately sharing the fact that we are affected by PTSD. But you know what? I got to say, like everywhere we went,
Yeah.
we did some sketchy stuff.
But
and you were right in there, like a dirty shirt. You're just like,
it's a sense of adventure. And what I really liked is that touching base with people from, the Royal Canadian Regiment. It's a broad group of comrades.
Yeah, we definitely found some.
Talking to Morgan Simpson again in Newfoundland. I had seen him for decades, and he put us up at his house, and I got screeched in as a new Newfoundlander, and then going up north and speaking to Colin, who was into RCR, but not at the same time I was, but shared experiences. And wherever you travel across the country, there's somebody from your regiment or from your experience, from the airborne, or a couple Patricias or Bandu friends. They're there, and they're there to approach, and they're there to spend time with. And I think it's really important to know that there's a network of people out there. But not only that, some of the people you meet, they're suffering too, and they might not realize it. And it's really nice to talk to people that knew you in the military and trust you enough to, share their pain, and you can help them. You can help them by talking about programs that are available, by letting them know they're not alone, that they're loved. And it's nice to be able to travel through and maybe have made a difference in someone's day, for sure.
I certainly hope so. Thank you for taking the time to sit down on camera and share, your service, your struggles, and your passions. And thanks for spending 11 days letting me drag you around Labrador and Newfoundland.
Well, I like it.
Bay.
For those that don't know Mike Terry, he's a workaholic, and I let him lead the whole thing. Like, I didn't have to. I was the 2IC on the night shift. It was awesome.
I do recall a little bit of passive-aggressive grumbling about what time we started in the morning.
Well, you know what? After you've been screeched in, 7 is kind of early. Okay?
That may have been premeditated on my part. All right, Frank. Well, brother, thank you for an awesome trip. Thank you for your service. Thank you for sharing. And I'm really hoping we're gonna get a chance to do this again next year.
We're going to do it again next year.
Wow.
It's a great way to spend a couple weeks. And if more people become involved, it will be even that much more rewarding.
Yeah, we had a grand total of 3 this time.
Yeah.
But
We had one last year, so we're getting there.
you know what? We,
Yeah.
we did. We tripled our participation.
I know, it's 300%
right off
increase
the
in
bat, so we should
participation.
have at least 9
Yeah.
next year.
And we've really had good support. We're, up over, almost at $2,000, I think, for donations towards military mines and all the good work they do.
Yeah, a lot of folks, even after we hit the stated goal,
They kept going. Yeah.
yeah, people kept going, and really, the folks, all across Canada, but
Yeah.
particularly Labrador, Newfoundland, the reception there. I mean, it was,
Oh, yeah.
it was mind-bending.
It's such a country. Get out and see it. That's all I can say. And don't do it in a car.
No,
Get on a bike.
what a waste.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Alrighty. Thanks, Belle.